I am here at the London AI Summit with Kate Ross, the CEO at eight&four. Kate, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for joining us. So how have you been enjoying the event so far? Have you had a chance to see lots of cool, interesting startups?
Yeah, no, for sure. Been great. Taking a really diverse sort of crowd here in terms of platforms, agencies, lots of different voices, which I've been enjoying.
Brilliant. So off camera just now, we were sort of talking about your journey with AI in marketing. And so it sounds like you have been on quite the journey. So how are you thinking about AI now, and how have you kind of developed that thought process?
And of course. So we're a social and content agency. So obviously predominantly the beating heart of any agency like that is content generation. So when GPT 3.5 dropped in November 22, that was an absolute, I still remember it dropping on Twitter, and that was a proper heart in the mouth sort of moment. It was like, oh my God, is my 15-year-old business about to go under in 6 months sort of thing? Is this the invention of the automobile in the face of my horse carriage? So it was a really scary time actually, and we went immediately, and it's great being an agency, and we're about 100 people, so we're still nice and nimble. We could just react straight away. So we went into 6 months basically of discovery, know thy enemy and all that. So got to the details, tried to understand the technology, and about 6 months into that journey, we realised that two of the key shortcomings for us from an off-the-shelf LMM perspective, one was security, huge security concerns about branded data. But then also specificity. Commercial marketing contexts are extraordinarily specific. It's not right, a ditty for your mother in the style of ABBA. It's not that free novelty sort of environment that LMMs do entertain in. It's much more sort of controlled than that, and obviously brand IP, etc. being really implicit with all of those things. So what we then started doing, and that was the summer of 23, we started building our own tools with that focus, security and specificity. So we're building customized Gen AI tools for clients. And as an agency, what we're able to do, because we are an agency, we are at that client agency interface, we do understand how day-to-day marketing works. It is not paint by numbers like lots of the Gen AI tech bros would like you to believe, or software companies would like to believe, here's your 6-stage plan to a marketing campaign. We were able to actually really specifically zone in on actually what were the specific parts of a marketing campaign or process could be enabled, improved upon with that productivity lens, which predominantly is where I think most of the power from Gen AI is. I generally think it makes things faster, not necessarily better. So we started building that, and the first tool we built was Coach for Hyundai. So fantastic automotive content is extraordinarily, expensive to shoot because it's very, very difficult to move cars around the world. So taking, digital twin technology, we built our own customized tool for that, and we were suddenly able to put Genesis, their luxury line of cars, anywhere globally. And that was really, really exciting. And the best anecdote I have from that is they sponsored the Scottish Open, and we created this fantastic image of a GV70 parked on the final hole. And the groundskeeper, apparently, when he saw it, blew an absolute gasket. And it was like, please, everyone stand down. No greens were hurt in the making of this image. And that was fantastic. And that was really attention grabbing and everything you want marketing to be, right? Like an arresting image. So that was really exciting. And then from there, we went on very specific problems with our clients. We then built customized tool for, and now we build customized Gen AI tools for the likes of HSBC, DHL, like big global companies, highly regulated companies, just really carefully narrowing in on those specific use cases we think the technology is really useful for.
Amazing. You're really talking my language now, coming from a social content background, as I do. I couldn't agree more with pretty much everything you just said. And it seems like to me that actually people don't quite grasp the scale of the opportunity in like bespoke AI solutions, right? That idea of specificity, I think, probably isn't very widely understood. So are you finding that you're having like surprising conversations with CMOs where they're like, oh wow, I didn't even realize this was possible?
Yeah, I think what's been really interesting in that client journey is I thought, again, back in the existential crisis period of November 22, I thought we were about to be hit with a lot of client pressure on do it faster and cheaper because of that technology. And we have yet in 2.5 years to have anyone do that to us. And that's credit to our clients actually. And hopefully because we've talked them through this and we've been on a journey with them and showcasing, where we've been and where we've learned and what we think the value is of the technology. It's only in the last 3 to 4 months that we've actually started to be specifically briefed by senior clients on Gen AI tools. Like I feel like, again, this is just my own impression and experience, but I feel like that sort of early adopter rush in 2023 led to a lot of burnt fingers. Do you know what I mean? The off-the-shelf stuff, and people come to us and they're like, I won't name the platforms, but tried it, awful, you know. And what we're now getting is that much more considered view and quite sophisticated briefing of like, we've looked at this entire sort of very complex process, which marketing is, again, which I continuously battle on about. And this is the bit that we think it can do. And it's been great to then have at the table clients going, can you help us build that? I'm like, oh, hold my beer, let's go. We are so excited you're here, because this is exactly what we think the use case is. Yeah.
Amazing. And so are you primarily building at the application layer and sort of making API calls to the major foundation models? Have you experimented with like training any of your own, or making, I've only heard this term at this event, but small language models, any of that stuff? Or is it primarily the application layer that you're
application layer? Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, we've yet to hire a developer yet. In terms of everything has been built by our own experts, specialist skill sets. So Coach was built by our art directors. Amazing. Echo, our social listening tool, was built by our social analysts, which is literally, I think my favorite part of technology is how it democratizes technology access. So I think that's been really exciting. Exactly, but like in the social space, yeah.
Amazing. Wow. So it's you're building all of these solutions with an entirely non-technical. I mean, it's non-technical even mean now.
Yeah,
absolutely. Entirely sort of non-technical.
No, totally. We've always been very technically minded. We have very powerful, phenomenal experts, CGI, motion. Do you know what I mean? So there's a technical backbone to the business already. So when this tech came along, we have an open culture, curious culture, no bad idea culture, and our whole thing was like, let's go. As I said, it was just like, let's go and hack it, like play with it. What do you think? What can we do with it? And from that natural curiosity, everyone was like, oh, can I try and build that thing? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's make sure we get the guardrails in place, because again, it's a commercial environment. We had to get this right. But then people flew with it. Yeah, and it's all been self-taught. It's been fantastic.
Amazing. And I think that you are, there was that initial fear factor that it's just going to replace everybody. What you are finding now is that when you do have experts, as you say, in motion or in a particular element of brand design or whatever, actually they're being amplified and accelerated way beyond what a layman using AI would be able to do.
Absolutely.
Just that gap's increasing.
Absolutely. I know it doesn't, this idea that it democratizes creativity, it's like it doesn't. It democratizes the access to the tools, and it's like paintbrushes all got really cheap and paint got cheap. It's like, I'm still a terrible painter. Do you know what I mean? Just that happened 100 years ago. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's a glib sort of anecdote, but it's like, it's what you can do with technology, and building all that subject matter expertise in the way we build our tools, I think, is what gets the value. And then also, I'm not a believer in AI left to its own devices. I believe in total human control. Hallucination rates are not going away. They continue to get worse as they continue to push the compute scales. So, this is a fantastically unwieldy. It's like a bit of like a very, a bit like one of my toddlers. Do you know what I mean? A bit nuts and crashing about. And it's like, you don't let it loose, but there's some electricity there and some, velocity that you can get if you harness it right.
Wow, if we're at the toddler phase now, what's the world going to be like when they hit the teens?
I know.
GPT, 14 years old. That's going to be really.
I know, it's fascinating, isn't it? I feel the jury's still really out on where this ends up. Like, will we look back on this and it would have been some like extraordinary, like, orgiastic sort of $1 trillion orgy that was like actually came out to be, oh, it just made this thing a bit quicker? Or will it change our lives? I'm a big fan of people who I think bring a pragmatic view to it, who aren't being funded by the Gen AI PR machine. Stephen Klein, Gary Marcus, LinkedIn, these people, you follow those, for really reputable people who've worked in AI for years and years and years, and they're going, this stuff is like, LMMs are great, but they'll reach the ceiling. It ain't going no further. And you saw Sam Altman's latest, the gentle CIG Mac. I don't know how he looks up in the mirror anymore. There's some of the stuff he comes out with, but there's actually lots of different ways as technology evolved. The current path we're on and where all the money is, probably not going to go that much further. Neurosymbolic AI, there's all these other branches that need attention because they're the ones that could maybe get us to anything resembling AGI. Current LMMs won't.
So I'm at a stage now where I don't think I even know what AGI means. People throw it around so much.
Yeah, they do.
Have you got a definition? Have you got a working definition of what you call
Yeah,
AGI?
no, sure. Yeah, no, it's a laugh. AGI, the meaning of it gets changed dependent on basically what commercial target has been written into a clause by someone investing in it by a VC. So it just shifts and shifts and shifts. Like, oh, I think this is it now. AGI to me, and the sort of like, again, with the people that lots of people that I follow who are much wiser on this stuff than I am, is this idea that could something genuinely, and the general aspect is really important, perform sort of day-to-day tasks better than probably a 4 or 5 year old could, in terms of that, that inherent logic ability. That's what I see AGI being. So are you smarter than my 4-year-old? And the thing is that LMMs obviously look very smart, but they're a mirage. I had a great phrase the other day. They're a Victorian parlour trick. And I was like, that's so perfect, because it's all about the novelty is exquisite. The novelty is absolutely exquisite. Trying to get past that novelty and dig down into, is this actually useful? And that sense check, that's where the hard work is. And people don't talk about the hard work. They want to talk about the novelty, because that raises the cash, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, well, and it gets the clicks.
Exactly. I know the clickbait. I know.
Which is the most important thing. As a marketer, I'm sure you agree with me on, we got to boost those CTRs, right?
I know. I was just in the meeting this morning, actually, we were laughing. It was like, we brought all this on ourselves. Like, working in social, as you have done, do you know what I mean? We've been sort of like basically jumped up salespeople for the platforms for 15 years and selling their sort of like version of what makes marketing good. And then the platforms are now turning on us and going, oh, you don't need those lot anymore, by the way. And I'm going, oh my God. And it's sort of, I think it's actually, Gen AI for me is really supercharged, like a bit of awakening about the digital era, consumer behaviors, what actually is important, what is just a bubble, within our sector. Agency sector is a terrifying bubble, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? The stuff we're obsessed with, and then you go to man or woman in the street and they're like, what?
Yeah, they've got no idea.
No idea. Like, what you're like, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we go to the AI summit, they're like, AI? Please tell me, like,
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we're getting slightly pushed on time now. So to wrap up, I know you've got a panel coming up. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that? What is it that you're going to be speaking about?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm on the human-centered AI panel, centering on marketing, being run by the amazing Emma Water-Love from Spark AI, who's a good friend and colleague. We are going to be talking about what does it mean to be human in this marketing AI space, which I am really passionate about, because I think it is so important now as humans. We have to be on the defensive because, as I said before, very, very well-oiled, well-funded PR machine is telling the world that we're not needed, and we have got to push back on that. And being it defensive, but that effectively is a bit pointless. Instead, what we need to do is dig into tools, get engaged, and get really, really clear on this bit. Yes, this could have use, having some AI sort of productivity gains maybe. But this bit, this is human. This is where I'm really important, and really knowing that and being able to really in detail defend your job, because these people, a lot of senior people don't care about the ins and outs. They actually don't know what jobs entail, day-to-day jobs entail. So they see this fancy demo and they go, oh, brilliant, I can automate that 50-person team. You're like, you can't. So I think that human-centered AI bit is humans actually centering themselves in it and getting ready and geared up to push back on some of these narratives.
Amazing. Well, look, on that note, I think we'll wrap up. Thanks so much for joining us.
Total pleasure.